Have you ever just felt like your brain is, well, running on a totally different operating system? We're not talking about being smarter or anything like that, but just a fundamentally different way of seeing the world. A way that seems like it's been hardwired from day one. You know that feeling? It's like you're picking up on these hidden frequencies in a conversation, the tiny shifts in tone, the unspoken stuff, all the layers of meaning that just seem to fly right past other people. Right. It's that sense of seeing the entire web while everyone else is just looking at one single thread. You're not just hearing the words someone is saying, you're processing the subtext, the history, and all the possible futures, all at the same time. Well, if any of this is sounding familiar, you're definitely not alone, and you're not just imagining it. Turns out this unique way of experiencing the world isn't just a quirk, it's a recognized cognitive style. Psychology actually has a name for it. They call it the high-frequency mind. And let's be super clear about something right up front. This has nothing to do with thinking faster or being some kind of human calculator. The key difference here isn't speed. No, it's all about the incredible depth of the processing and the vast network of connections the mind is constantly making. So that's the big idea, right? But what does that actually look like day to day? What's the engine that's really driving this whole thing? Come on, let's pop the hood and take a look. Turns out, this whole way of thinking is really built on two main pillars. And once you get these two ideas, the whole concept of the high-frequency mind just clicks into place. All right, let's dive into the first pillar. This is really the foundation of the whole system. It's all about how the mind takes in information in the first place. So pillar number one is something called complex cognitive processing. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like seeing the world in ultra-high definition. It's this automatic default setting to see all the shades of gray, to be comfortable with things not having a simple answer, and to spot those really intricate patterns that make up any situation, instead of just settling for a black or white explanation. Just look at the contrast here. A more standard way of processing is often very linear, very step-by-step, but this complex style, it sees the whole system at once. It's really the difference between asking what happened and just instinctively asking, but why did it happen this way and how does it connect to everything else? Okay, you ready for the second pillar? Because this is what takes all that deep processing and just gives it this incredible, creative, expansive power. And this is called associative integration. So if the first pillar is all about going deep, this one is about going wide. It's the mind's natural tendency to build these bridges between ideas that most people would keep in totally separate boxes. We're talking about connecting, say, history to science, to art, to a random memory from when you were a kid, all to create a brand new insight. Here's a perfect example of how this works. Someone might be reading about a historical event, and that could just spontaneously trigger a connection to a scientific theory about group dynamics, which then reminds them of a piece of modern art that explores social themes. And the end result of all that? A totally unique hybrid insight into human behavior that you never get from just one of those sources alone. That is associative integration in action. I think this quote just nails it. This isn't just a skill you learn, it's a fundamental drive. This kind of mind isn't satisfied with just collecting facts, just collecting the dots. It has this deep, almost biological need to find the relationships between them. It has to connect the dots. Okay, so that's the theory, that's how it works, but so what? What's the point of putting a name to all this? Well, this is where we go from just having a psychological label to having a really practical tool for understanding ourselves. Because if any of this has been clicking for you, this is probably the most important question of all, right? What do you actually do with this new awareness about how your mind works? Well, understanding this can be an absolute game changer. For one, it validates your experience. It helps you reframe what you, or maybe other people, have called overthinking into what it actually is, deep processing. And once you see it that way, you can stop fighting against your own nature and start harnessing it. You can start looking for the kinds of projects or jobs or conversations where this way of thinking isn't a bug, it's a feature. And let's be crystal clear on this point. The goal here isn't to put anyone into some special, gifted, or elite box. That's not helpful. The real power in this is simply self-awareness, getting a kind of user's guide to your own brain so you can work with it more effectively. So, you see, the ultimate takeaway here isn't about mental horsepower or some kind of raw processing speed. The question that really matters isn't about how fast your mind works, but in which direction you choose to point it.